Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another segment of Community and Family in Focus. I'm your host, Dr. Rajab Aly, and Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah. So today in our segment, I would like to address a topic, an issue that is that many families in our community have to deal with. And they have to deal with it, and how others react to them is what I'm really concerned with. And this is talking about families with disabilities. That is, families who have a son, a husband, whoever that is living with disabilities among them. So you have a family living with disability. And how do the family cope with that? And how do we as a community, whether it is a masjid level, whether it is a communal level, a society level, or even an individual level, how do we care for that? What is our level of awareness that we do have people with this kind of situation, and Allah knows how they do with it and how they live with it, and how do we interact with that. And like I said, it is a very sensitive issue, and I will tell you why during the program, why I'm doing that. But I believe we are not at the stage where we have this community awareness and consciousness and willingness to welcome those families and to work with those families and to accept these families. Before we even get into the discussion, I wanted to know and say who is the disabled? Who do we consider somebody disabled? And how do you define disability? And there are researches that have been done, there are studies that have been done, and there are common things that are used to assess, to judge if somebody is disabled or not. And those are called as ADL. ADL, activities of daily living. What are activities of daily living? Those are activities like you get in a bed by yourself and you get out of your bed by yourself. This is about can you take a shower by yourself? Can you go to the restroom and take care of yourself by yourself? Eating. We all get food. Alhamdulillah, we have food. But can a person eat by himself or herself? Or that person needs somebody to feed that person, right? Walking. Or is that person bound and cannot walk, cannot move around, whether it is in the house, whether it is in outside, that person cannot walk. All these are activities that are used to define whether somebody is disabled or not. To what degree we can do those activities, how many among those 6 to 8 activities I mentioned, how many you can do on your own or you can't do of your own, will decide whether you are disabled or not. And mind you, also in that category, there is also a cognitive capacity. There is also a mental capacity, because you could have a person that can get up, for example, from bed, walk to the kitchen, make himself or herself a cup of tea and a toast and eat it. Now, from that definition, what I give you, that person is able to do everything by himself or herself. But however, there is one problem. That person has a problem. He may leave the stove or he may leave the oven on. You see? And that's a totally different, that's a cognitive aspect of it. Even though he can do those physical things, but he has a mental thing that he doesn't know, he doesn't realize that if he leaves the stove on, he could put the whole kitchen on fire. And when you have somebody like that staying with you, obviously you can't leave that person alone. Obviously, it's not safe, even though that person is completely 100% mobile, completely 100% can do something. All right. So these are the the definitions that I hope, as we are sitting and listening to that segment, you do have an understanding of the definition, and then we can. I also remind you that on your screen you see the live, alhamdulillah, Iman TV is back on satellite, and it's a live program, and you can call for your questions. I do see the number over there at the bottom of your screen, 510-618-2911. And you also have my email at mrajabali@hotmail.com. Please don't hesitate to call us live. We can answer your questions, we can talk to you, and also you can email me. There is no problem. Let's talk a little bit about the causes of disabilities, how people get to become disabled. Now, there are three main categories of causes. The first cause, I would say, is old age. And, is old age. We get old, and we are getting old in big numbers. Right? When I say we, I mean my generation, we are known as the baby boomers. There are millions of us out there, and we are getting, you can take 65 is the cutting line, a bit more, a bit less, that put us in the baby boomers generation. If you are 65, 5 years plus, 5 years minus, somewhere in there, you belong to the baby boomers, and we are getting old. There's no question about that. And we are getting old, and as we get old, you know what happens as we get old, right? I was talking to one of the physicians, and he was telling me that only 10% of people die like easy death. 10%. Will die like, in their sleep or without. The big majority of us, baby boomers, will have something. You will have something that will make you disabled, whether that will be a stroke, whether that will be dementia, whether that will be dialysis, and I can go on and on and on. Many families are dealing with those issues right now, and definitely you will have this as a challenge in your family if you do have baby boomers generation with you living in your house. And the interesting here I want to share with you in a studies done by Hobbs and Damon in 1996, seniors want to stay in their home. And here is they give a breakdown that seniors that are 85 years and older, 96% of them, when asked where would they want to live, they say in their home. And 65 to 74 years old, when asked where do you want to live, 89% say at home, and 56 to 74 years old, when asked where they want to live, say 77 years old. What I'm trying to say here, you see, I've been involved with many of those things like homelessness. I've been involved in drug addiction. I've been involved in domestic violence. When you look at those things, you say, yeah, we try to help. For example, you can help youth if you try to bring some program. We give them a soccer field, we give them counseling, we give them opportunities to do social work and activity work that can make them busy and they get out of the drug, right? Or we can say domestic violence, we talk up to husbands, we talk to wives, you treat your wife well, don't do this, don't beat your wife, and we will see a decrease. This one is different. This one you cannot expect a decrease because this is the law of nature. We are going to get old. You can't prevent people from getting old. And that's why this, to me, is a very serious matter, because it is going to hit the Muslim community as it's been hitting, and we don't talk about it. We don't address it, and we don't talk about it. There's nothing you can do that Muslim community is going to get all, right? There's nothing you can do like other things I've said, like youth, you get them engaged so that they don't go into drugs, they don't go into gang violence. Yeah, there's nothing you can do. They are going to get all, right? So that's a big cause. The cause number one is old age, you know. The second cause will be, you know, genetic birth, birth deformities, birth malformation, what we call genetic malformation, you know. These are conditions that happen when a baby is born. And Allahu Alam, it is a very hard thing to have to do. And there is not much you can do about it. Sometimes this happens as the environment get worse, as our food chain get worse, as our food chain get contaminated with mercury, with lead. We know what is happening in Flint, the water, for example, where authorities were negligent enough to allow the resident of that city to drink water infected with lead. And this could result into many genetic deformations. That you have children that are disabled, they can't talk, they can't walk, they can't focus, they have no attention, like autism and so on. Very common, it's on the rise. All those conditions on the rise. The amount of radiation we are being subjected to, it's amazing. We live in a society, we live in a culture, not only in America, but around the world, where we are so much of internet, so much of social media, so much of microwave, so much of cell phone, so much of television. I mean, you name it. And all those products hit you. Now, I'm not being an extremist and say don't use those things. I'm not asking Muslims to go and be like the Quakers. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you have to know the style of life you live, you pay a price. If that is the style of life that I have to have food in microwave, that I have to have social media 6 to 8 hours a day, that's fine. But know that there is a price to pay for that. You know, and because there is no studies right now, there is no research now how those waves of radiation coming from those gadgets affect us. Maybe it will take another 15, 20, 25, 30 years for us to know that. You know, by the time I personally will be gone, but the studies will show. All right? And birth defects are very common, and it's hard. And that's hard when that hits a family. It's very hard to deal with that. Other cause of birth defect are during the delivery process, especially if you have forceps delivery. That's why the concept of forceps delivery is not too much used right now, because it has produced so much brain damage where they take the baby with a forceps and they clamp it and they take it out, and that presses on the brain, and the brain is not solid bone yet, the brain is cartilage, you know, and when you press it like that, you damage the brain, and that has happened quite a few times. And the other one is trauma, accidents. Accident is a very common cause, you know, even among young people who are born healthy, who enjoy good quality of life, good health, and at some point in their life, there is an accident. It could be a car accident, it could be a motorbike accident. Young people, they love motorbike, they love to have that adrenaline on their motorbike. And I know many parents have talked to me about why my son wants this, man. You know, that's a choice to make. Life is about choice. You want to ride a bike, you ride a bike. But you have to know that accidents are very common and costly if you ride a bike. Costly in terms of you being disabled. When you get hit on a bike, that's a chance you take. If you want the adrenaline, you want the fun, you have to accept the risk of driving a motorbike. Young people hanging with the wrong people. I talk about that a lot. young people, young Muslim hanging with gang members, hanging around people, doing drugs. You don't belong there. You don't belong there. And if you hang there and you take a bullet in your spine, you know you are done. You are done from your waist down. You are done, and you look for that problem. You look for you walk with fire, you will be burned. That's a lesson we all know. We all know that lesson very well. You work with fire, you will be burned, right? So if are the young Muslims and you are not careful who you walk with, where you stand with, where are you going? Sure, there are accident, random bullets hit you, absolutely. In that case, you're completely innocent. There's nothing you can do about it. If you are standing in the wrong place in the wrong time, how do you know that? Nobody can do that. But if you go and look for trouble, you will get trouble. You will get trouble. If you are in the habit of flooring your car at 100 miles an hour, I talk about motorbike, the same come with your car. You have a sport BMW, you have a sport Acura, whatever that may be, right? As a teenager, as a young man or woman, you just floor it, and you do 100, 120 miles an hour, and you hit something. You hit a tree, you hit a car. Yeah. If you die, you die. But if you don't die, you will come out a vegetable. Okay? And those are the other reason we have people that are disabled. Let us see now what Islam says about that. What our book, the Quran, tell us about that. And there is a chapter in the Quran, chapter 80, Abasa, that deals with a situation like that. Let's give a background of what's happening. The Prophet ﷺ is in Mecca, and he's trying to convince the proud, the arrogant Quraysh magnates to listen to him, to give Islam a chance, and he's talking to them. At one such incident, when he was talking to them, the blind man came. A blind man came. You see, Abdullah bin Maktum. He is blind, he is poor. He comes and tries to get the attention of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we all know what happened. The Prophet frowned. The Prophet didn't want to hurt him or whatever, but the Prophet said, hey, he didn't say that, but we can say that, hey, you can wait, let me think, I'm finishing here, I'm talking here, this is serious, this is important, hold on, I can get to you later, just go hold on. Something like that, what you and I would say in a conversation. Let's look at that now, let's analyze that and see. Number one, how was that society in Mecca? They did not have room for those people. If in that society you had a disability, you were blind, or you limped, you could not walk, or you could not talk properly, people will laugh at you. People will make fun of you. And there is no special accommodation. There is no bending of rules or bending of things to accommodate you, to bring you in. That wasn't known. And we see what that happened. You see how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He revealed that. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم عبس وتولى أن جاءه الأعمى وما يدريك لعله يزكى أو يذكر فتنفعه الذكرى. He reprimanded the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is Allah Himself did not like that. And that's what we need to understand, that should be the basis of our understanding when we are dealing with the disabled communities. That in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they were not disabled. I repeat that. In the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they were not disabled. They were honorable. Right? And Allah did not like that. Allah correct His Prophet. That's His Habibullah. That's His Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But yet He correct him in public. Not only privately, but in public and for ages to come. 2,000 years from now, 3,000 years from now, if we're still here, anybody read Abasa will know what the Prophet did, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how Allah was not happy with that, and how Allah corrected it. This is very serious, and this should give us an indication of the extra attention we should pay to people with disabilities. Right now, I see us, we're almost zero. As a community, I see us, we're almost zero. And that's why I am bringing that. But you look at the Prophet ﷺ, what he did is, excuse me, after this, the Prophet ﷺ developed so much respect for this person, for Ibn Maktoum. He developed so much respect for him that every time he sees him, he would stop and he would say, this is the man. This is the man that Allah used to correct me. Subhanallah. Can you imagine the Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about you in that language? Can you imagine this honor, this dignity that you have achieved, that you have reached, that the most influential, most important person of the time in the whole wide world is telling you that you have been used as a means of correction for my mistake. Subhanallah. And it doesn't stop here. On 2 occasions, the Prophet ﷺ left Medina and he appointed him, Ibn Maktoum, as his replacement, as a Khalifa in Medina, in his absence, to take charge of Medina. How auspicious is that? How high is that? How noble is that? And how much have we done like that? That's my point. That's my point. I have been in so many masjids, in so many Islamic centers. I have yet to see a board member of any masjid coming and rolling at the table of the meeting in a wheelchair. Oh Allah, I have not seen it. I have not seen it. Maybe I don't know if I don't know if I'm wrong or what, but I have not seen it. And I don't know. I'm not limited to one masjid. No, I'm a rotating khatib for masjid in the Bay Area. I travel and I do fundraising. I speak at family nights. I go at convention, coast to coast. Right? I don't know of any case. Right? So, and this is why I'm talking about that, and this is what is very important. Now, I will tell you why I'm talking about that. For those of you who are in the area of Fremont, you may know me, that I was a commissioner, a human relation commissioner for the city of Fremont. This is a voluntary work. You don't get paid for that. So I was voluntary for 10 years. I was with the city of Fremont. And as a commissioner and as chair of the commission, I had to deal with those organizations that take care of people who are disabled. And we gave them money, the city gave them money to run their program. And I was very touched by it too. There were a few of them, and I visited them and talked to them, talked to the people, talked to the organizers. And and they had the heart, and we were very supportive, and my commission, and I will give them all the support we want. I believe in those programs. I believe the city of Fremont was doing a good job supporting those programs. But I never saw any Muslim. That was until I went to an ISNA convention in Newport Beach, California, and that was, I think, in the month of January 2016. And at the registration table, I saw some organization, and I saw one particular organization called Mohsen, M-U-H-S-E-N, Mohsen. So I talked. I didn't know what those organizations were doing. So I talked to them, and boy, I was thrilled. I was thrilled when they tell me what Mohsen is all about. This is exactly what Mohsen does. They take care of families that are having people with disabilities living with them. And I was thrilled. I said, Muslims now are doing this. I said, subhanallah. And I know this concept, I know that, but I never knew they were Muslims. that were doing that job. So I talked to them and I promised them that I would bring awareness of this issue in the San Francisco Bay Area. And I have already given khutbahs in San Ramon, in Fremont. This Friday's Jummah, inshallah, I will do it at the Santa Clara, you know. So that's what I'm doing. And then I, of course, being a regular presenter at Iman TV, and I say, yes, that's what my segment is about on Iman TV. It's about community, it's about family, and I say, yes, I will bring that issue for us, and I hope you are enjoying it, and I hope you can call. The number is on your screen. Please call, please express your idea about it, and let us know, because that's very important. We are going to take a short break and we will come back. And when I come back, we will continue with that discussion. But please, I would like to hear from you what you say, and give me a call or send me an email. But you can talk to me live right now if you call. And inshallah, don't leave. We'll just take a short break and we will come back and I will talk to you.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. مرکز همبستگی اسلامی افغانها در لندن از کمک‌های بی‌شایبه شما ابراز تشکر نموده و از خداوند متعال اجر دارین را برای شما خواهانیم. این مرکز همبستگی اسلامی در لندن در پهلوی عبادات روزانه و نمازهای جمعه دارای خدمات زائد میباشد. مکتب اسلامی برای اطفال، صنوف زبان و کتابخانه، سالن برای کنفرانس ها و میتینگ ها، اجرای عقد نکاح و کانسلینگ و خدمات شستشو و نگهداری میت با وسایل اصلی. این مرکز برای پرداخت قرضه های حسنه، تادیه و نجات از پرداخت سود بانکی با کمک های عاجل شما هموطنان نیاز دارد. امیدواریم تا کمک های خود را با اکاونت نمبر این مرکز که در روی صفحه قرار دارد بفرستید. انشالله ثواب آن بهره‌مند خواهید شد. تلفن های معلومات 079 51 06 74 52 و یا 020 85 70 79 78. وبسایت iiccuk.org.
محمد يا رسول الله، يا حبيب الله، محمد يا خليل الله، محمد.
خواهران و برادران گرامی، صدها دختر و پسر برای ادامه تحصیل خیش و کمک شما ضرورت دارند. معاونت و شفقت برای اطفال یتیم و بی‌وضاحت اجر و ثواب بی‌پایان دارد. خواهشمندیم تا با زکات و صدقات خیش دست این کودکان نیازمند را گرفته و در راه تعلیم و تربیت ایشان را کمک کنیم.
مؤسسه خیریه اورفان هاوس یک مؤسسه راجستر شده امریکا و افغانستان می باشد. هدف ما سرپرستی اطفال یتیم و رنج دیده افغانستان است. اورفان هاوس فعلا 15 پسر و 3 دختر یتیم را در یتیمخانه مستقل در کابل به آغوش دارد. همچنان برای این یتیمان مکتب شخصی، معلم قرآن کریم، معلم ورزشی و خانه مجهز فراهم کرده است. هدف ما این است که آنها را مانند کودکان خود نگهداری کنیم. بیایید با هم آرزوهای این یتیمان را برآورده سازیم. شما می توانید در این کار خیر با دادن زکات و یا خیراتتان خود را به این صدقه جاریه سهیم سازید. لازم به یادآوری است اورفان هاوس 100% کمک‌های شما را به این اطفال یتیم می‌رساند. دستی که کمک می‌کند از لبی که دعا می‌کند ثمرش بیشتر است. اورفان هاوس، کودکان شما.
تلویزیون اسلامی ایمان و بنیاد راقم با افتخار تقدیم می‌کنند مجموعه گرانبها و پرارزش زندگی نامه پیامبر بزرگ اسلام حضرت محمد صلی الله علیه و سلم توسط دانشمند و عالم فرزانه کشور دکتر عبدالستار سیرت. این اثر ارزشمند که شامل 41 پروگرام و در 8 دیویدی گنجانیده شده در واقع یک کتابخانه بزرگ سیرت النبی صلی الله علیه و سلم به شمار می آید که شعر و وقایع آن با بیان عظمت و شخصیت بی‌نظیر پیامبر بزرگ اسلام از مصدر اصلی آن یعنی قرآن کریم و احادیث مبارک نبوی گرفته شده. تمام عواید این مجموعه گرانبها به صورت صدقه جاریه از طرف استاد عبدالستار سیرت به تلویزیون ایمان اهدا گردیده است. این بزرگترین هدیه خواهد بود برای شما و خانواده های مؤمن شما. برای دریافت این مجموعه بی‌نظیر به تلفن های 510 894 3784 و یا 510 673 40 در تماس شوید. تلویزیون اسلامی ایمان و بنیاد راقم با افتخار تقدیم می کنند مجموعه گرانبها و پرارزش زندگی نامه پیامبر بزرگ اسلام حضرت محمد صلی الله علیه و سلم توسط دانشمند و عالم فرزانه کشور دکتر عبدالستار سیرت. این اثر ارزشمند که شامل 41 پروگرام و در 8 دیویدی گنجانیده شده در واقع یک کتابخانه بزرگ سیرت النبی صلی الله
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to our segment that we were talking about. Just to remind you quickly, if you just joined us, we were talking about the issue of families with disabilities, families that have people with them that can't walk, that can't eat, that can't talk, and how do we respond to that? And we gave the example of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his time with Abdullah bin Maktoum. I ask you to review, to read Surah Abasa, and you will see, and you can read some tafsir, and you will see how that is. Allah considers those handicapped people as His chosen servants. That's what you can get from that. They are elevated. They are not deprived, right? And especially those who display Iman in their condition, those who have sabr in their condition, the family who have sabr, and when they have such a thing, because we cannot imagine what it is. You cannot imagine the stress being with somebody that needs somebody, especially in a busy society like we live today, 24/7, day in, day out, you are in that situation. Right? So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless those families, give them even more iman, even more sabr to deal with those conditions. But what can we do? Does that elevate us? Does that release us from our obligation? Just because we make dua, we say, oh Allah, give this family patience. Does that mean that's all I can do? And that's my question here. And that's why you have this organization called Muhsin, Muhsen, and you can check them online, muhsin.org. That's what they do. That's what they have programs to do that, because the blessing is amazing. Many times people ask the question, well, why Allah created those persons like that? That's a question you get. I've heard it from young people. I've heard it from old people, fully grown up people. And constantly you get that question, well, why? What is the wisdom behind for Allah to create somebody who is blind? For Allah to create somebody that cannot take a step for the rest of their life, they have to be in a wheelchair. Why did Allah create that? And He's merciful. No, a'udhu billah, astaghfirullah. This kind of reasoning means a poor understanding of the divine. the poor understanding of the divine concept, of the divine sifat. What is sifat in English? Oh my God. Of his qualities. Of his qualities. Okay, and that's very, very important to understand that. How will I know what is to enjoy sight if I could not see? If I don't see somebody who cannot see, how can I enjoy what I see? If I could not see somebody that cannot walk, how could I enjoy my walk every day? It is Allah using some of His servants to teach us the valuable lessons that we don't think. I'm stick on the eyes. Let's think about the eyes. If I have my good eyes, before I use my eyes to see something haram, I need to think. Allah, my brothers and my sisters who are listening to me, before I use my eyes to look at something haram, like a dirty movie, like a dirty magazine, I need to think what ni'mah Allah has given me that I can see while this person cannot see. If I can walk, I need to understand what the ni'mah Allah has given me that I can walk, and that I should not use my legs to walk to places of displeasures of Allah, but I should walk to places where I have the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we think and reflect about those signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we will understand there is a divine reason why Allah made that. And if we are one of those persons that is handicapped, never should we think we are deficient. Never should we think we are being punished. Never should we think that we are being singled out by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No, it is an elevation. In the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has used us. He has used us. That today we are talking about this. I'm not, by this, I don't mean you should go and look and make yourself disabled. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying if you happen to be disabled in your life or whatever life, then this is what we need to think, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used us for a noble cause. And the wars among us have the dire responsibility. You know, you have so many examples in our history. You know, there is even this beautiful hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he talks about a man of the day, on the day of judgment. Allah will talk to this man and now say, "Oh, I was sick. Why you did not come to visit me? I was sick." The man just taken back and say, "How could you be sick? You are Allah. You are the creator. You are the sovereign. How could you be sick? How could you ever be sick? We human beings are sick, not you." Then what does Allah say? Subhanallah. Allah said, "But you know what? My servant so and so was sick. Had you come to visit him by his bed, you would have seen me sick with him." Now, this is a literal explanation of the hadith. This is not the exact hadith, but that's what it is. There is explanation and an explanation of the hadith that tell us, subhanallah, what those people are. My brothers, my sisters, community leaders of masjids, we need to think about that. I want to ask a question, and I have asked this question at the masjid that I have visited. When the last time, do you know the masjid that you go, wherever you go, I don't know where you go, but when do you know when the last time the masjid you go to have done something special for these people? Personally, I can't think of. I'm asking you that. Now, the masjid that you go, when the last time you know? Something simple as a dinner for them. As a dinner for them. Very simple. When do you know your masjid have done that? We need to change that. We need to open our masjid. We need to make it open the space where those people come comfortable. You don't want people to think about, there were questions raised. Is the wheel of the wheelchair clean enough to come in the musalla? What kind of reasoning is that? What kind of sickening reasoning is that? Huh? Prophet said the whole world is for us to play. Right? And now you're going to question if the wheelchair, if the wheel, the tire of the wheelchair is clean enough to come into the musalla. We need a lot of thinking, brothers. We need a lot of thinking. And we need to remember that. We need to be very careful with that. We need to make our masjids comfortable for those families who have to deal with situations like that. If you build your masjid recently, I know you are ADA, up to the ADA, but there are much more you can do than just meet the ADA requirement. The American Disability Act. If you just build it up, most likely you will be asked to have a ramp. But I know there are masjids that don't have ramp, and there are many things. So those people are trying to help us. Contact them if you have an organization, if you are in a masjid, contact them, let people come and let them help you. They have certification level where they will help you. I don't know how many conventions you go, how many meetings you do, how many conferences you do, and you see sign language. I don't know. I know only one personally. I know only in the main hall for ISNA convention, I've seen it. I've seen sign language. And I would say, yes, that's a good beginning step. But otherwise, I don't know. So if somebody is deaf, he's done. You can talk, he just he can't hear you. He can't hear you. Because there is no sign language for him to understand. This is as simple. And for us who live in Fremont, the city of Fremont is known for its deaf school. Right? So all these are programs that can bring and make people feel comfortable. We owe it to those people. We owe it to those families that we can help them, and we should help them. We should open our heart. We should open our masjid. We should open our organization, and we should just bring programs. And I was told that, there are a group of children who are blind. And mashallah, they are reading a Quran in Braille. They are reading a Quran made especially for them. And there are around 20 children, I'm told, by Mohsen that are learning the Quran with the Sheikh. I mean, subhanallah. Subhanallah. How amazing those organizations are going out of the way to teach a child who cannot read, who cannot see, to read a Quran for the blind. This is an amazing project. And all these good things are happening. It is in our culture. It is in our culture. We have always, after maybe the incident of Ibn Maktoum, the prophets, the Sahabas became very, 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 very conscious of that. And they need to accommodate, they need to create space, they need to have people in. And this is translated into the Ottoman Empire. When you have the Ottoman Empire that would have assigned a person to a blind person. They would assign a person who can see well to a blind person to help that blind person getting around. Amazing. This is in their tradition. Today we have dogs. There's nothing wrong with dogs. If somebody has a dog, is blind and has a dog, there's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is, before there were blind dogs and all things, the Ottoman Empire perhaps was among the first as an emperor, as an empire, as a system of governing that provided those facilities. And from that we've dropped back. And we need to become proactive again in that area. We need to so what am I saying? What am I asking? Look into your family. Look into your neighbors. I put this question to people, and I'm going to say that again. One thing we do when our teenagers, right, boys or girls, as soon as they get 18 years old, most of the time, what do? We buy them a car. Many times it's a fancy car, many times it's a sport car, whatever. We buy a car. So that in the average Muslim home, you have 2 or 3 cars. I can't understand. I can't understand why Muslims never created a system where we can help people, seniors, handicapped people, people with disabilities. We can help them with driving. For example, we could help them bringing their groceries at home. Right? Why we have this organization called Drivers for Survivors. I'm sure you know them. You've heard about them. Drivers for Survivors is an organization that have drivers go and take people to their appointments, come back, their groceries. Why Muslim we can't do that? Why we, like I say, the average teenage Muslim has a car. Why we can't say make a roster, make a pool of drivers and say, look, you give me 4 or 5 hours a weekend. Why we can't do that? Why a masjid cannot train a pool of maybe 10 people, boys and girls, because you may need sometimes boys, sometimes you may need girls, but have boys and girls. Don't send them alone, I say send them in pairs, but train them, to give them a basic training how to take people. And we call those families, and we say those families, we give you a day out. Can you imagine that you call this family and say, this masjid is giving you a day out. Go out. If you are a husband, go out. If you are a wife, if you whatever you are, go out. We send 2 of our volunteers who are trained, and they will sit and babysit for you. It's called not babysitting, but whatever you call it. They will sit for you 4 or 5 hours a weekend. I don't know why we can't do that. What it will take is pure organization. Pure organization, right? That you just have to have some thinking, just have to remember and be active, organize, make a survey in your area, make a registration in your area, how many people you have, how many people we have dealing with that. Let's make a survey, let's make a study, and then we start from there. You know, even if you can help one family, alhamdulillah. Even if there is one family in your area and you have done something for that family as a community, you say alhamdulillah. Say alhamdulillah. So I think I have been able to bring that issue. As I said, I promised Mahsen I will do that, and I hope I'm delivering that message to you wherever you are, in the Bay Area, in the coast. We are satellite now, so you are seeing me everywhere. And please, if you have some questions, do not hesitate to call. I will take your questions, or you can contact me through my email, mrajabali@hotmail.com, and I'll be glad to share with you. We have a long way to go in that. We have a lot to do in that. But inshallah, the awareness itself is a good starting point. We can start from there, and we can see how much we can deliver, how we will deliver, and where we can deliver. So thank you for your attention. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us this tawfiq to respond and to do something, and may Allah bless you and your family. Jazakumullahu khair. Assalamu alaikum.